Log entry 1, 11:07 p.m. This is my third night on rotation at Warehouse 7. My previous assignments, primarily at corporate parks or retail centers, were entirely uneventful. This particular location, however, feels profoundly different from the moment I arrive each evening. It's not any overt abnormality, more a pervasive, subtle stillness. Everything here seems routine, at least on the surface, except for the clocks. My personal wristwatch, a reliable quartz model I've owned for years, synchronized precisely with my phone's network time, clearly displays 11:07 p.m. The large red digital clock mounted prominently on the security room wall, easily visible from my desk, perfectly matches it. 11:07. Yet, the security system's integrated timestamp, a persistent digital overlay burned into every single camera feed across all 32 monitors, reads 10:42 p.m. That's a 25-minute discrepancy, a quarter of an hour simply missing from the official record. I immediately contacted maintenance support, following standard protocol. The technician on the line, sounding distinctly bored and impatient, assured me that all warehouse systems, including the security network, are hard-synced to multiple redundant atomic time servers. He stated there were no reported errors on their end, no unexpected outages, no system anomalies of any kind that could explain this. He simply instructed me to disregard it, to proceed with my shift as if nothing were amiss. But I didn't. That instruction felt unsettling. Instead, I decided to review the security footage from the previous night, my second shift here. What I found was genuinely unsettling. The timestamp lag began subtly at 2:13 a.m., just after my first patrol. It was a mere flicker at first, only a minute or two off, but by 6:00 a.m., just before day shift supervisor arrived, the system timestamp was a full 47 minutes behind real time. Then, precisely at 6:00 a.m., as the day shift supervisor entered the security room, casually checking the logs, everything abruptly snapped back to normal. The system time perfectly aligned with the wall clock and my watch. No one else seemed to have noticed the temporal drift, or at least, no one cared enough to report it. It feels like this is a known, unaddressed issue. Log entry 3:12:33 a.m. My focus has now entirely shifted to this growing discrepancy between my perception of time and the system's. Moments ago, aisle 5's motion sensor tripped. My watch, still stubbornly accurate, read 12:02 a.m. I immediately pulled the playback for that specific camera feed, expecting to see a loose pallet or perhaps a stray rat. The footage, however, showed nothing out of the ordinary. Just empty shelves, perfectly stacked pallets of packaged goods, and the distant, rhythmic hum of the warehouse's ventilation system. No movement, no sign of activity, but the timestamp, the persistent digital anomaly superimposed over the image, claimed it was 11:39 p.m. The lag is not only present, but actively growing. I decided to pull older feeds, meticulously tracing every second of the night's recorded activity. That's when I found something else, something far more perplexing. At 11:17 p.m., according to the system's timestamp, forklift #3 is clearly visible, parked and completely stationary in aisle 2, near the receiving bay. 6 minutes later, according to the system timestamp at 11:23 p.m., the very same forklift #3 is now positioned in aisle 7, a considerable distance across the warehouse floor, near the shipping bay. The footage between these 2 points, those crucial 6 minutes, is simply gone. There was no glitch on the screen. No digital distortion, no static interference, no file-corrupted message, just a clean, uninterrupted jump from 11:17 p.m. to 11:23 p.m. As if those 6 minutes of the forklift's movement never happened, never were recorded. I called maintenance again, my voice betraying no emotion, specifically inquiring about system access logs, any record of manipulation or data deletion. Their response was unwavering, almost robotic. No one had touched the system, no external access, no internal overrides. The security network is closed loop and tamper-proof. This can't be a simple technical fault. I'm starting to consider this warehouse isn't just misreporting time. I think it's experiencing it. Or perhaps consuming it. Log entry 5:148 a.m. The time lag between my watch and the security system's timestamp is now substantial and undeniably alarming. My watch, a precise instrument, currently displays 1:48 a.m. The security system, however, stubbornly shows 1:11 a.m. That's a 37-minute void between us, a full minute gained since my last log entry, indicating an accelerating problem. To rule out any isolated camera malfunctions or localized electrical issues, I decided to walk the floor, conducting a physical verification against the monitors. The air in the warehouse felt unusually heavy, almost thick, despite the constant ventilation. As I passed aisle 9, I immediately noticed its overhead light was out. I recall it being active earlier, perhaps 30 minutes ago, when I last checked that specific feed during my routine sweep. I proceeded directly to the main breaker box, located near the loading docks. All circuits were green. No tripped switches, no power fluctuations indicated on the panel for aisle 9 or any other section. All systems appeared perfectly functional, contradicting the visual evidence. But as I walked back towards the security room, a cold certainty settling in. Something else registered. The pallets in aisle 9, the ones directly beneath the unlit fixture, were subtly rearranged, shifted a few inches from their original perfectly aligned positions. Not a significant change that would indicate heavy machinery or human effort, but enough to register to a keen eye. The dust on the concrete floor, however, visible under the emergency lighting, remained utterly undisturbed. No footprints, no drag marks, no sign of any physical interaction. They had simply moved. I checked the camera feed for aisle 9 upon my return to the desk. The timestamp for what I know was my physical walkthrough displays 1:22 a.m. My watch, at the precise moment I completed that circuit, read 1:48 a.m. 26 minutes of my physical presence are now entirely unaccounted for. I have no memory of blacking out, no sensation of lost time, no disorientation or confusion during that period. Yet, the system claims I was simply not there, or that the time itself was not there to be recorded. Log entry 7:35 a.m. The system's clock is now 1 hour, 12 minutes behind my reality. The air in the security room feels colder than it should. I am meticulously documenting every discrepancy, every anomalous event, every fraction of lost time. This situation is escalating beyond simple technical glitches. It feels deliberately manipulative. The security system's keypad logs, accessible only from my console, indicate a definitive badge swipe to exit the building at 2:53 a.m. My badge, my unique access code, but this is impossible. I have been seated here, at this very console, without interruption, for the entirety of my shift. I immediately pulled the main exit door feed. The footage clearly shows a figure, identical to me in every detail, uniform, build, even posture, walking deliberately towards the door, reaching for the keypad and swiping the badge. Then, the figure, who appears to be me, simply stands there, motionless, utterly still. Utterly still. Just a frozen tableau of my own reflection. Then the feed abruptly cuts. The very next frame shows the door closed, the space empty. The timestamp on this disturbing sequence, 2:53 a.m., the exact time logged by the keypad. My watch, here and now, reads 3:05 a.m. The time lost is accumulating, consuming pieces of my night. I cannot explain what I am witnessing. The impossible nature of these events, the relentless temporal distortions, combined with my own unrecorded actions, leads me to only one conclusion. This warehouse is not just recording time. It is actively stealing it, taking it from me, from everything within its expansive silent walls. And it has the capability to mimic, to fabricate presence. Log entry 9, 4:30 a.m. 5 hours have passed, according to my watch and my own internal desperate sense of time. The silence in the security room has become absolute, no longer a normal quiet, but a profound absence of sound. Yet the security system, with its ever-lagging timestamp, indicates I have only been here for 3 hours, 7 minutes. I am consistently losing time, not in gradual drifts, but in discrete, significant chunks. When I review my own security feeds hoping for an explanation, I see myself sitting at this desk, static, for intervals as long as 22 minutes. Then, a blink, a slight adjustment of my weight in the chair, and the system clock abruptly jumps forward, skipping over vast periods of unrecorded activity that I have no memory of. These are not minor blips. These are significant absences. I attempted to leave the security room, to exit the building entirely. The main exit door, which the phantom me had supposedly used, would not open. My badge, functional moments before for that illusion, was now completely unresponsive to the reader. The emergency phone on the wall, directly beside me, rang once, a single, sharp, jarring tone that echoed in the silence, then immediately disconnected. It refused to redial any number. This warehouse isn't just stealing time. It's holding me here, trapping me within its temporal anomaly. With a growing sense of dread, I went back further, digging deeper into the past night guard logs. A chilling pattern emerged. Every single night guard's final recorded shift, the one before their employment was terminated, or they simply stopped showing up, had a significant temporal gap. Precisely 17 hours were consistently missing from their logged work period. The system always registered it as a standard 8-hour shift, perfectly normal, no overtime, no anomalies. But the guards themselves, according to cryptic HR notes from their exit interviews, often described profound disorientation, severe fatigue, and an inexplicable sense of missing time. Their complaints were consistently dismissed as stress or exhaustion. I realize now, this isn't just happening to me. It's happened to all of them. Final log entry, time unknown. The clocks are all dead now. My personal wristwatch, my last reliable anchor to reality, stopped precisely at 6:02 a.m. The security system, which had been so diligently stealing my time, finally froze entirely. The last displayed timestamp reading 5:17 a.m. It should be light outside by now. The sun should be up, filtering through the loading bay doors. It's not. The windows show only a pervasive, oppressive twilight, an unchanging, dull gray that hints at no dawn. The cameras, all of them, display empty aisles, frozen in a perpetual silent stillness. No movement, no visible activity, but I hear footsteps. They are slow, methodical, deliberate. They're coming from aisle 6. This is the same aisle where the pallets subtly shifted without human intervention, the same aisle where the initial, significant time lags began to make themselves undeniably apparent. I think something has been here the whole time, moving unseen, existing between the fleeting seconds, operating outside of the linear progression of time as we understand it. And now, I believe it knows I've noticed. It knows I am aware of its presence, that I've pieced together its methodical consumption of time. The main exit door just unlocked. A soft click, then the green light above the keypad illuminates. But I don't think I am supposed to leave. I don't think the last guard did. His final log entry, a hasty scrawl on a torn piece of paper found taped to the console, consisted of only 2 words, haunting words. It learns.